All right, guys, let's continue with the next part. 1 minute, please. Yep. So today's guys topic is very much core, and I can say very important topic today with respect to the Ansible. Okay, so let me guys give you the name of the topic, then we'll start discussing about that particular topic step by steps. Okay, sorry. If you guys use Ansible, or if you if you are working in some corporate, and if your company using Ansible, somehow I know almost every industry is using Ansible. Okay, normally we don't obviously Ansible is everything about the automation actually. Okay, but for the automation guys in the Ansible, you guys know we have to write a playbook. Okay, until now guys, what we are doing, we are using this playbook or maybe you guys might use one term, we are deploying or running or executing this playbook against some target node or managed node. Okay, but technically we in the real world we don't deploy the playbook directly to the node. Okay, instead we directly run the playbook to the target node. We put the playbook in one box. Okay, and we deploy that particular box. What I mean by this is my today's main topic, but technically that box is known as a rule. Okay, so guys, the overall topic in today's class is more about the role. Very important topic, because I told you in the realistic world, we always use our role instead directly use the playbook. This is one thing. Second thing is there's one more topic that is related to role. If we got the time, if we get the time today, I will definitely discuss about this topic called Galaxy. Either today or maybe tomorrow. And by chance, if we get some more time today, I will talk one more topic that is not related to role, but is one topic in the Ansible that's called sudo. Or instead of sudo, I can use the word called privilege escalation. Sorry, escalation. Okay. So, but for this topic, guys, privilege escalation, right? You should have a basic knowledge of sudo, and that class we have already shared with you. I think you guys have gone through that particular basic classes. Okay, so that's the only prerequisite for understanding the privilege escalation. So this topic may be of 5 or 10 or 15 minutes. Maybe today or tomorrow we will discuss this topic. So today's agenda, guys, for today's class is first is role, then we move to Galaxy, then we move to privilege escalation, or maybe we'll take this topic PE tomorrow. Okay, but my main topic or my main plan today is to talk about the role. Okay, so what is role actually? Okay, and how we gonna use the role. So let me guys again explain you one concept. I'm just giving guys this concept first of all related to programming way, then I will explain you with the use case way. Anybody over here are a programmer or ever work in any programming language, maybe Java or maybe Python, for example. Okay, what we do normally, why we do a program, why we write a code? Because code, using the code we can create a program, and every program has some kind of goal or target. The program will do something for you. Maybe this program is a calculator, or maybe this program is a game, or maybe this program is something else, right? Every program has some final goal, final something they're doing for you. Okay, so depend upon the final target or the goal, your code may vary. Maybe your code may be one single line of code, or maybe code maybe you have thousands of pages of the code, depend upon what you want to achieve from your program. Okay, but normally in the realistic world, what a goal and final requirement you have, your program or code become very larger. Very larger. Okay, so normally what programmer do to properly manage the code, what they do, instead they write the code in one single program file or one single file. Okay, they create multiple files. Okay, so some of the part of the code, let's say this code can be divided into 4 part, 5 part, 10 part maybe. So first part they store in file number one, second part they store in file number two, third part, fourth part, and fifth part. So technically this all the files become one single final program, but we'll split just for management purpose, right? And one of the requirement for the management purpose, maybe one of the part of the code can be developed by some other team member, and this part is developed by some other team member. So we'll ask, let's say this is the or let's say this guy name is Jack. So we'll ask Jack, can you please create this code? And we'll ask, for example, Chris, can you please create this code? And every developer create this code, and finally what we do, we will bundle all the code, we connect all the code, put into one box, put into one box, and finally we run the entire box. Or technically we run the entire program. Okay, maybe in that program is coming from different files, but we run the entire program. So guys, if you ever create any programming in any of the language, every program become bigger and bigger, this is the simplest way you do. In the terms of management purpose. Or anybody who by chance know Python, by chance know Python. So this separate file that you create in the Python, this file is known as module. This file is also known as module. This is also known as module. I'm talking about there's a Python prospect. It's not Ansible. In the Python, every individual file is known as a module. Okay, here I'm not talking about function. I'm talking about the file actually, the complete file, the complete code. Okay, and all the module, if you put in one box, okay, one box to run it. So maybe here you might use a word called package. So we packaged all the module. Okay, so interesting thing is, if you guys see here, final motto is same, final goal is same, final code is same, final code is same, but 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 we are just managing so that multiple team member can work in different module, different file, and finally when we run it very easily, we can group together, connect together, run together. Something like this. So I can say one package will create similar thing. So those by chance who know a little bit about programming language or a little bit about maybe in this example Python, they might know module, for example. Okay, but because in Ansible we are also writing code, and if code become big. Okay, and if you want to manage the code, and that's what we have to do actually, if you talk about the real use cases, I think guys, you have gone through the yesterday webinar. that is uh, uh, that is exclusively, guys, we have arranged for you. I would like to thanks all the Red Hat delegates or team members, or maybe the director, right, or Anand, other guys. I think the use case that is discussed by Anand yesterday, right, and the main motto, guys, was the of yesterday webinar is to give you the high level idea, all the possibilities in the industry, um, where Ansible can be used. That is the final motto. And I want, um, especially people from the Red Hat who is giving the support to the client, and the client of Red Hat is all the company almost in the world, almost all the major company. Okay, so I want they will talk about what kind of problem Red Hat is solving for their different client, maybe from Cisco to IBM, or now I did belong to IBM, but maybe other companies also. Okay, so at least for the yesterday conclusion, you guys get the idea, all the use cases from Splunk or from microservices to network devices, security compliance, and they might talk some lots of things about different use cases. Okay, but finally, one more thing, guys, to tell you, you guys are by chance in EX, or I can say RH294 training. Officially, we only do the training, but we are trying to guys to doing some extra events for you here, so at least you will get some extra information that is very relevant for real world. Okay, but finally guys, if you conclude yesterday webinar also, you guys might feel whatever playbook you write in the Ansible will be used. A lot of guys or a lot of team member work in same goal or same use case or same problem statement. Okay, so the most important thing is we need is to manage the code. So like in the Python we normally create a package. Similarly in the in the I can say in the Ansible world, package is actually known as a role. So it is a similar kind of thing. If you know Python, but doesn't matter guys. If you don't know Python, I will again explain you what kind of use case role solve for you. But yeah, in simple term, role means managing your code, especially if you have bigger environment. This is one of the use case of the role. There's some more use cases of the role we will discuss. Okay, so let me take one more example. Okay, where a role might be useful, but it all the example guys somehow related to management only. And guys, this is a very important thing because writing the code might not be big deal sometime for the developer, but in the bigger environment, if your code become bigger means complex, how gracefully you are managing the entire code makes a lot of sense. Because not only you, maybe after you left the company, other team member has to work in your code. If you don't understand what exactly going on, it will be difficult for next team member to work on it. Okay, so management is very important. So let me guys give you let me talk about Ansible perspective. But till here what I'm trying to conclude here, package is equals to role. A role means there are lots of different file work together. Okay, and create one thing for you. Okay, and here that one thing maybe if you talk about Ansible perspective is to configure Apache web server that you guys know. This is one thing. One of the goal may be configure HA proxy. One of the goal may be configure some security uh, implications issue we have, or a compliance issue we have, or some kind of network Cisco devices we want to configure. Maybe what your final requirement is, if you talk about the Ansible perspective. So for every final requirement or for every use case, we can create a separate role. So I can say this is the one of the role, or I can say this is the one of the package, same thing. But in Ansible, it is known as a role. So the goal of this role is this will help me to configure entire Apache web server. Or one of the role is he helped me to configure entire database or NoSQL database or Redis or Cassandra, whatever you guys know, MongoDB, they will configure for us. Okay. So the point is, you guys might see here till date we are configuring the Apache website. We did multiple time, okay, with the playbook. So we need rule again. Simple answer is management. That's all. And I'll take some example today. You will understand what I'm talking about. So whatever we're doing till now, maybe you're doing same thing today, but approach of writing the code or managing the code will be different. Sorry guys. So let me guys give this explanation one more time in the Ansible perspective or Ansible architecture perspective. Okay, so till date guys, we have a controller node and we have some managed node. Okay, and let's say this is management 1, 2 and 3. So what we are doing till now, okay, our target is to configure IP1 and IP2 as a web server. So we create one database, or I can say inventory. We give some inventory and name. It's called group, host group, and we write the IP here. And what we did, we write a one playbook. Okay, and guys, the duty of this playbook is to configure the Apache web server or setting up the Apache web server. And normally, sometime it is a normal trend in the market. The playbook that you're going to run, or I can say the main playbook that you're going to run, normally given a name called setup.yml. It's up to you. You can give any name, viml.yml or Apache web server.yml. It would be your choice, but it is a normal, simple trend in the market. Sometime somebody use, most of guys you use, I can say. So they create one file called setup.yml, and in the setup.yml, what they do, they write in the first line host, and here the entry of the host is web. means we are running this playbook on the play called web, means running on the IP1 and 2. And here, guys, they write the entire task. Okay, I can say the entire code. And interesting thing is, in this code, it's not only the task come up. In this playbook, we have to write variables, we have to write task, we have to write handlers. You guys know what is handlers, we discussed already. Okay. And till date, guys, we have discussed a lot of basic core concept of Ansible, but you can apply this concept with some kind of complex example also. Okay, only difference is, till date, guys, I might use 2 or 3 variables, but in real example you might have hundreds of variables. Hundreds of task package or copy or template or service or firewall, or maybe 50 100 handlers. So technically, if you want to set up the something, let's say you want to configure Apache web server. Okay, depend upon the steps to start. Or guys, if you remember the way I always use, we always write the step and you have hundreds of steps. Okay, and all the step, guys, you would like to parameterized with the variable by giving the variable, and the use case of the variables, right? Okay, so finally this setup file or the initial file, the main file that you're going to run as a playbook, it will finally configure the Apache web server for you. That's my final goal. This is my final goal or my target or requirement, right? Or where they configure on IP1 and 2. So IP1 and 2 will be configured by this goal. Okay, but guys, in this example, if you start writing the code, this single file becomes so much big. Okay, there's no challenge, but if it's so much big, so in the future, if you want to add some more tasks, okay, so you want to add some more tasks, you have to come to the same file. If you want to add some more variable, you have to come to the same file. If you want to add some more handler, you have to come to the same file. And guys, that is the reason I have given you one concept, right? Where instead of we write the variable in this file, we can write variable in other files where we use in my last classes, and we include this variable file here. If you guys remember, we use a function called keyword called where underscore files. And why we did this, I told you that time. Okay, because this is always a great practice. Always great practice. Okay, and don't go inside the main file or setup file. Okay, if you want to do some changes, maybe version name or port number or something like this file content, just go to this variable file and change there. It will automatically use by this task and the handlers. Again, this again the good thing about management. So what we did, we we split this part and create extra file for this. Okay, but same thing, guys, same concept we can apply here. Maybe if you want to configure Apache server, right now, for configure Apache server, we have 10 steps: step 1, step 2, free 10. And for every step, we create a task: package task, service task, firewall task. Or maybe in the future, you have some more tasks. Maybe you want to do some extra security. You want to add some extra tunings, extra buffers, or extra caches in, extra configuration you want to apply here for same Apache server. For extra step, extra task you have to write. And again, writing extra task, you have to again come to the same file. Okay, but if you only apply the task, why it comes same? Why we have to open the entire code? What can we do? We can again remove this task and create a one separate file just for the task. Similarly, one separate file just for the handler. So it's just it is something like this. Now, in one single playbook, okay, just for the variable we have a different file. Just for the task we have a different file, or just for the handler we have a different file. It is something like this. If you again relate to this these things for everybody, maybe this example might not exactly fit, but for everything, one big code we split in different files. Here by chance the Python is called module. Okay, but here we can say separate file we create. Okay, and now what we will do now in this file, in this file we don't have anything, no variable, no task, no handler. Okay, but in this file we will say that I would like to run this setup.yml file in my host called web, means in these 2 IPs. But while running my setup.yml file or main file, okay, on IP1 and 2, I would like to use this variable file, this task, and this vendor. So all those guys, I want this guys will be bundled together in one box. And guys, by chance, this box here is called role, right? So we have to bundle this guy into one box. It's called, maybe in language we'll go package, but here is called role. And guys, one more way you can think, one more way you can think that makes more sense here to understand the role. It is something like this. It is something like this. Maybe in your company, in the corporate, we have a separate team for the Ansible who keep on writing our program or playbook for us. Or maybe in the company, some of the server we are going to configure with Apache Web Server, some of the server we are going to configure with the databases, some of the computer we are going to configure with some kind of securities setup kind of thing. Or maybe maybe these are the system where I want to configure two independent thing. One, I would like to configure Apache Web Server, plus same system I also want to configure something about security. Okay. Or in this system I would like to configure again database server, but in this system I would like to configure again something security, but this security setup and this security setup will be same in both the computer. Okay, so what can you do? Okay, what can you do? Well, for configure a web server, you can create one single box, and this box or this package or badge here, this role is only meant for configure web server. So Ansible developer create this role for you, and they store this role somewhere in your computer, means technically in your controller node. And say I am the developer, I have created one box for you, role, that's all. My duty is done. Okay, maybe same developer will create one more role only for configuring securities. They say one more role or package we have created. Or you can think in this way, not this developer, maybe anybody who expertise in database, let's say Oracle, for example. We ask this guy, or we'll ask this guy and and say, can you please learn Ansible, or can you please sit together with some of the developer of Ansible and help me with the steps what normally do in the database configuration. So these two guys or two different team work together, or maybe these guys, maybe single guys will go and create a separate box for you, a role for you. And this role, whatever they develop for you, is purely for databases. Okay, or maybe just one more example. Maybe in a company, XYZ company, you have, for example, let's say your IBM, and in the IBM, you are using some devices of Cisco network devices and you want to configure these devices. So your developer will sit with the Cisco company members, or you already have a guy who is great in network, right? So they sit together, work together, or maybe these guys might know Ansible already. So all these guys work together and create one role for you. That's called network related role for Cisco, or Cisco for some devices. Okay. So finally, guys, some team member in a corporate world, or I can say some team member in the community world, I'm talking about internet. Okay. They know if some company want to configure Apache web server, these are the steps everybody follow. Somebody who want to configure something in the Cisco devices router, these are the steps they always follow. So why not let's create one pre-created module for this, or not module here, pre-created package or pre-created role for them, and share this role to everybody. If I'm the part of community, means publicly on the internet. Publicly on the internet, or you're part of the company, let's this role is developed by one team member and put somewhere, and anybody who want to use this role, just go and use it. So it's so simple. Now a role has been created. The role has been created, is be developed and put somewhere in a computer. Okay, and now in the future, if your company say these are IP1, IP2 and 3, and I want all this IP3, IP to be configured as Apache web server, so it's so simple. We just apply this box here, that's all. We will just apply this box here, just by applying one time, right? All this three computer to be configured as Apache web server, and I want these three computer will be configured as a database. We just apply here. Okay, automatically these computer will configure a database server. But I want all this 3 and 3 plus 6 computer will have a same security implementation or security configuration. So we have one box. So we apply this box here and here. One time apply. Okay. On all these boxes, all this computer, or I can say these are my target node or the managed node. Okay. Whatever written already by some other developer who has great experience with web technology, getting security, they automatically configure this computer. Okay. But for this, we should have pre-created these boxes or pre-created these packages. Typically in this Ansible, it is known as role. So I think that is a better scenario, this example, to explain the role. So role is about management, but the main motto of the role is somebody, some company, somebody else created this role for. And guys, this is the actual real, right? Even though there's a lot of communities in the market who create a role for us and put on somewhere on internet that anybody can go and download and use it. You don't have to. For example, you are looking for configure Apache, even though by chance we know how to configure Apache web server. But somebody, as a human being or some person or some community member or somebody who good in Apache web server plus in Ansible, they create a pre-created role for us. We have to just download that role from the internet and directly apply on our target node. We don't have to write this task or handler. We just write one simple setup file and say, I would like to apply this role in all this computer called web, and my role name is web, or my role name is security, my role name is database, whatever guys role name you would have to give here. And one of the community on the internet where you can find these role pre-created available, you have to just download and use it. Okay, name of that community is called Ansible Galaxy. So we search Ansible Galaxy. So you will find this is the one location on the internet where lots of community member of the Ansible, and not only Ansible, right? For example, you can find one role for one role for, let's say, security compliance, or one role for Juniper devices, one role for load balancer, one role for AWS cloud. So anybody who is good in AWS cloud plus Ansible, they create a pre-created sorry box for you. Let's go role for you. You just download and use it. You don't have to write the entire playbook. You just actually download and apply the role. Okay, so this is the website. So I can say this website is a location where you can find lots of roles. Okay, so by chance anybody who know about Docker, so anybody who know Docker, so lots of community guys in the Docker has created a lot of Docker images and put publicly in this website. So you don't have to create your own Docker images, you just download it and use it. So this is called, guys, a repository for the Docker images or repository for the container images. Similarly here, if you don't want to create the entire Ansible core, somebody is created for you. And the good thing is good thing is it will save our time. Plus good thing is maybe I might not be great in Cisco devices. Maybe I know basics, or I know basics Ansible. They have sorry, created for you. A lot of guys tested for over here. Tested over here. We have to just download and use it. And maybe because I know a little bit about Ansible, I might little bit tweak it. How I tweak, I will explain that part. Again, there the role of variables and parameters come in play, and actually I use in my target node. So guys, can you hold for a second, please? Sorry guys, I was muted. So so from here guys, like in Docker hub, it is a internet or public repository for the Docker images. A lot of community guys has created the image, and we guys might download and use it. Similarly, in the Ansible, in the Ansible, this Ansible Galaxy is a public repository for the Ansible role. A lot of other guys has created this rule, or I can say packages, and we just download and use it. Depend, maybe in a company want to use, implement cloud or web technologies or database or networking. So almost everything that is normally possible in the configuration world by the Ansible, you will find the role here. Okay, but interesting thing today is I am going to, not initially not going to download the rule from here and actually use it. It's so simple to download and use it. I will show you maybe today or tomorrow. Okay, but my initial plan for today is to show you how to create a role. Okay, so that if you think if you think maybe, if you're searching here, do you have any role for Docker? Maybe you'll find, or do you have any role to configure Hadoop cluster or Spark cluster? Maybe you find, or maybe you don't find, maybe possibility. For let's say you don't find anything about the Hadoop cluster role. So because maybe by chance some of the guys might know Hadoop, and by chance you also know Ansible, plus today you're going to learn how to get the role. So all these three knowledge combined together, and you guys can be become a developer of the role, and you can share this role in this community after creating an account here and upload the role. Or because you guys might be good in, and maybe in AWS cloud, or maybe in Hadoop, or in Docker, whichever the role you want to create, you can post here. And guys, this is the one of the great way to contribute to the community, connect with a community member, and this is a great way to showcase yourself. Okay, if you really want to, looking for the great job, I can say I've seen all of my, lot of my older students over here, maybe from corporate world, from here, they get a great connection from by this approach. By this, just by single approach. Okay, because when you upload this, other companies guys who are working, let's say just for example in Hadoop, they're looking for Hadoop playbook, and they just go and download, they use in the real world, they find it so much great and awesome over here, everything is working great. It means they feel you guys know Hadoop in depth, you guys know Ansible maybe in depth. Okay, so you would be the right candidate for their respective project. They will approach you. Okay, for working on the project, working the team, working for the job, and something like this. So it is a great approach, guys, to showcase you. So I highly recommend, guys, guys, after my today's lecture, okay, you will be comfortable to how to create a role, and start, uh, just start exploring by yourself which field you are good in. Maybe in Hadoop, maybe in Docker, maybe AWS cloud, or maybe XY, you may databases. Start getting role and start sharing over here. Okay, and you'll see after some time you will get a great response if you really create a great role here. Okay, so but I think you now understand, guys, multiple use cases of the role, but how to create the role, let me start from here. So today's guys plan is how we can create our own personal role. And after we create the role, obviously guys, we create a role inside. My role is again, finally you're finding your code. We create this role inside my control node, and after we after we create the role, we will apply this role. Or I can say we will assign this role to one of my managed node. Okay, so how we'll do, let's start, guys, from here. Okay, but I highly encourage you guys. Okay, highly encourage you guys, after today's class, start working on creating a role, and after test your role with multiple angles. Depend, guys, which part and technology you're creating the role, start sharing on the community. And especially guys, all everybody from the earth learner, it is a it is a must task you have to do. So every earth learner, maybe in upcoming classes, they will host their own personal role to the community. Okay. Okay. So let's start guys from here. So first of all guys, what I'm going to do here, okay, it's always good practice. I told you we have to always create a workspace. Okay. And guys, today you guys might feel one of the use why we are creating a separate folder or workspace for our code. Okay, today you will see the use of creating this folder. So let's say I'm going to create a one folder called workspace or WS20. You can give any name. Okay, over here. Now, sorry guys. Now what we did till date, okay, we always create a playbook and we put everything inside the playbook. But first of all, guys, let me check my my inventory file very quickly. So I already have the inventory, and let me check the IP of this guy. IP 155. So we already have the inventory for 155, and by chance we have given the name called my web also. That's the the use of this concept. Now, let's say my plan is to configure this guy as Apache Web Server. So till now, guys, you know what we are doing. I'm writing this code very quickly because same code I have to copy paste here and there. So till here, guys, we create one file called web.yml, some kind of file we are given, and we apply this playbook for this group. How? By writing this host, this called this group. Then we write some variables, and in the variable, let's say one of the variable I'm using here p. Here I'm storing my software name httpd, and some of the tasks we have written. Let's say one of the tasks is called package task. Package task, and in this package task I am installing the software where my variable name is p. So they're getting the software name from this variable over here, and the final state to be present. Okay, and I'm using one more task just very quickly that you guys know already, service task. And let's say my service name is again httpd, or you can create one more variable here just called s. By chance service name is same, but not always all the service name is same as the software name. So here I'm using a service name called s. Okay, and here my state to be what started. Okay, but I'd already guys already tell you guys, we always ask the service to run inside the handler. So you can guys create also the handler here. Okay, so you guys know this part. So let me make it the code a little bit here, so that you can focus more on the role. So guys, you right now we have two steps. Maybe have 100 steps, 100 tasks we might have, or 100 of handlers we have, or maybe hundreds of variables we have. Okay, and we apply all those things to one group of hosts. It's called one play. Okay, so rather than I write the code in this way, we can we can make it little bit simple, not actually simple, right? May not be simple. It is simple, but it is something like this in better management way. All right, so this will have a separate file, this will store in the separate file, and my final playbook only have one thing where I would like to run my this code. Okay, and this code is in group together become role. What I mean by this, let me show you. So guys, this code we always run very quickly. Let me test so I can see my any syntax error we have. So till here guys, we know the things, but I told you guys this is not good practice to write the entire code one single playbook. What we have to do, we have to separate it in different files. Okay, and for this we have to create a role. And how to create a role, it's so simple. But guys, before I create the role, let me run one command. This command will tell you how many role I already have in my computer. The command is called Ansible Galaxy. And if you see the help of this command, in this command they have an option called role. They have some more interesting thing in the Ansible collection, but right now we are discussing about the role. A role again, if you see the help of the role, and here they give you option called list. Okay, list. So this command will tell you that in your computer how many role you have. Right now, see some kind of warning and some kind of errors here. Okay, errors here. What I mean by this error? Okay, the meaning of this error is okay. Let's before this error. By chance, this is a new computer. Till date, guys, we haven't discussed about haven't discussed anything about the role. We haven't created any role till date. Okay, so this error means what do you mean by this? I will discuss. But right now in my computer, I don't have any role. How I know, I will show you in a minute. Okay, but before this, let me show you how to create your own role. Okay, so here, guys, in this command, if you see with the help, there's option called initialize a new role or create a new role. Option is called init. Okay, if I use the init option, okay, and here you have to give a role name. Now it is your choice what was the name of your box you want to give. Your web or security or DB or Cisco ISO network devices or routers, iOS, I can say. Depends, right? So let me give my role a name or box a name or package a name. Let's just call my let's say my Apache. That's all. It's so simple. Just one click, new role with this name create. But guys, behind the scene, a role is just a name. That's all. Like in guys, 1 minute, guys. Let me open one document for you, so I can share this. 1 minute. Commands. 1 minute, please. So technically, role is just a name. Okay. What is exactly behind the scene? What is role? Role is exactly a folder name. So when you create a role, internally they create a folder in the same location where you are. If you see here, they create this folder for you. Okay. And why they create the folder? Because I told you guys, I told you, when you create a role means we will create one file only for variables. We create one file only for tasks. We create one file only for handlers. All the variable we put in this file, all the task and module of the Ansible we put in this file. And it but obvious, if you want to store multiple file, for multiple file we need a folder or directory. So technically, behind the scene role is just a folder or the directory to manage this file. Okay, that is the reason, guys, behind the scene they create this folder. So this folder is exactly equal to role. But by chance, guys, in my computer, one role created and there's no error come up. Now, if you ask your list command, okay, of your Galaxy Ansible Galaxy command, and ask in your computer how many role we have. So let's see what happened. Again, you see, guys, some kind of error come up. Same error what you see in the last guy. Why? Because Ansible role command are looking for the role. Technically, they're looking for this folder. And by chance, you and me know where we create this role or the folder. And by chance, we know we create this role inside this folder, inside this workspace. Okay, so technically what we have to do whenever you would like to list the role name, you have to specify the path or your workspace where you keep your role. And for this, these options we have to use. And tell I have a workspace or folder name where I'm keeping all my role. I told you guys, as an Ansible developer who create the role, they keep the role in your control node. Obviously, guys, if you're keeping something in the computer, you have to store somewhere in the folder. Which folder we keep, we know. Ansible doesn't know. So tell the Ansible Galaxy command, this is the path where we keep our role. Now, if you run this command, now you won't see any error. There might be some warning. Why this warning come up, we will discuss in a minute. But at least you see one thing. Now your system has detected and figure out that in my computer we have one role with the name called my Apache that exactly we have created. That actually we have created. Okay. But only challenge is the good thing about the role is, okay, because you're telling this command that this is a role, it means if you go to any of the other folder, for example, you go to other folder. Now here, if you want to list also, you can list. So anybody who know about concept called path, because we are giving the path or giving the location where all of my role we are keeping. So they will go there and list and say, in this folder we found one role with this name. Or maybe in this folder we can create more role, one for Apache, one for database, one for security, lots of role we can put. So technically, finally, as an Ansible developer, you can create hundreds of role here. But after create the role, now it is your choice. It is your choice where you want to apply this role, which node you want to apply this role on. Okay. Or guys, again, one more thing, it is a great way to share your code. Okay. So I am a developer, and I would like to share my entire code for Apache web server configuration. I will put all of my Apache web server config here, my variables, my my task, my handler here, and I'll share this entire folder to you. Or I can share the entire role to you. Same thing. You can download my this folder or role in your computer, put somewhere in your computer in some folder, and use in Ansible playbook. How to use, I will show you how to use it. Okay, this is a one thing. So right now, guys, if you want to create a role, only one command, that's all. This command. But wherever you are guys creating this role, in my case, I create the role in this folder. Now, whenever you want to use this role that is stored in this folder, in this path, okay, by Ansible Galaxy command, or maybe a Ansible command or Ansible playbook command, you have to tell where this role located. Okay, so guys, let me create one code over here. Okay, so what I'm doing here, okay, I'm going to create a code, let's go playbook. So what is my intention here is to make it very clean. My intention here is, in my computer I created one role. By chance, the name of this role called my Apache. And guys, it is but obvious logically, if you think this is the new role I have created, so it but obvious there will be no variables, there will be no code, no task. Nothing is there. Okay, but let's say this is the role without any code. Okay, but what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to apply this role we are creating a control node. So I'm going to apply this role in one of my managed node. So first of all, guys, I want to show you, right, how you can apply the rule to your managed node. And obviously, guys, when you apply, it means you want to execute or run. And because right now this role is new, nothing is there. So nothing going to happen, but at least you'll learn how to apply it. Then we'll see how to write a code inside the role. Okay. So for this, so guys, in the Ansible is pretty simple. If you want to apply, if you want to apply anything in the Ansible to the managed node, we have to always create a playbook. But here playbook will be very simple. What I'm talking about, let me show you. So I'm going to some other folder, maybe new folder, for example. Okay. And let's say somebody in your computer, some other developer has created this role for you. And they are the good in Cisco or Apache database server. They create those role for you. And you guys might don't have so much knowledge Apache server. You just know how to write basic basic Ansible playbook. Even though nowadays Ansible becomes so much optimized, even though if you don't know how to create a basic playbook also, Ansible has given you one web UI where anybody can open a kind of website, web page. It is some kind of web page come up. And here they show you have node 1, managed node, target node, IP1, IP2, IP3. They show you all the IPs. And here they show you all the pre-created roles. This is a web role, this is a database role, this is a network security role. Guys, without knowing Ansible, okay, somebody who know by Ansible, they create this role for you. But anybody who are managing your infrastructure in the terms of in the terms of running this code in the managed node. And guys, sometimes this term is also known as, instead we say we are running our code or role, because role is fine as a code. Okay, applying to the managed node. We sometimes also use one term here. I think this term is not accurate here to use, but a lot of guys use this term. Is called orchestration. Okay, so we can say we are orchestrate our playbook, our role to this node. Okay, sometimes somebody say this, but I don't feel this is the right term, but we can say also. But what is the meaning of orchestration? Anybody by chance ever work in some kind of clustering technology, for example Kubernetes? Okay. Or maybe if you guys by chance the part of Kubernetes training that's going to happen from this 5th of January, I will exactly explain you what exactly the meaning of orchestration. Okay, but somebody use this. But let's come to main point here. So we have one beautiful web UI from the Ansible or from the Red Hat, I can say, where you know what you have to do. If you want to apply some rule, we just graphically we drag and drop here. We just go and connect it. We just go and connect this. That's all. As soon as connect, automatic this system will configure database. This system automatic configure web server. Very simple. And guys, that is a role of Ansible Tower. And guys, this is one of the role. I can say Ansible Tower can do more thing for you, but Ansible Tower will make the thing very simple. So anybody maybe don't have so much Ansible knowledge, they can manage their inventory graphically. They will apply the code, maybe playbook very quickly, or lots of things they can do there. Okay. So, but this is again not the main topic for today. But I'm just trying to guys give you all the possibilities, mm, or things related to a role here. Okay. So same time thing I'm doing here. So what is my intention? Let's say somebody has created one role for us, and I'm going to apply this role in this managed node. And for this, we have to, if you don't have this Ansible Tower or graphical, you have to create some small playbook. Okay, so that's what I'm going to create here. So I'm going to create some playbook, and typically normally we give the playbook a name called setup.yml. Because finally this playbook is going to set up one of my node, in my case IP155, as Apache web server. Because we are going to use this role. Okay, so what I'm going to do is in this playbook here, it is exactly same playbook, but here I'm saying I'm going to run this playbook on IP155 is one of my managed node. And now from onward, guys, we don't have to use wheres, we don't have to use task, we don't have to use handlers. You don't have to write any of those terms here, and you don't have to write any of the code and variables here. Just tell one thing, that in this IP, and my plan is to configure this IP only for Apache web server, and for this one of my team member or I myself maybe has created one role. And I just want to apply this role, and the name of the role in my case is my Apache. This is my role name. That's all, guys. That's the only thing other team member who would like to manage the configurations, they have to do. If you have Ansible Tower by chance, you can drag and drop, but this drag and drop is exactly equals to this one. So if we're dragging this role to this guy, or we are applying this role to this guy. Okay, and by chance if you don't have Ansible Tower, that's okay. Okay, the guy mm, who are configuring this managed node, right, or applying some role to this managed node, they have write this kind of setup file where they write this. Okay, so guys, if you see here, it is but always somebody from the internet create this role, we download. We have created here, we're creating today. Okay, and we are applying to this computer. And one more thing, guys, I told you, in one computer, okay, let's say in IP2, let's say this IP155, you are also applying web role, you're also applying security. Maybe in one computer I want to apply configure two things. So in IP155 I can apply a lot of roles, depend, guys, what I would like to configure in that particular computer. Okay, so for this I can write one more time role and say I would like to apply my security role also. Whatever role name you have. Role also. Okay, and that is the reason, guys, this role is a list, and that is the reason I use hyphen. So I can write a lot of role here. But by chance I have only one single role, so let me write in this. By chance this role I haven't downloaded from the internet. I have just created. None of the code is written, so this role have nothing. But let me show you what is the output come up. Now from here, if you run the Ansible playbook, because final setup file is a playbook, but in this playbook we don't have any task, only we apply the role. But in this role we might have some code. And whatever code we have, it will be applied to IP 155. And guys, you will get an error here. And this, but always, why we get this error? Because we asked this guy, I would have to use this role, but only you and me know where this role created. This role is created in the folder called WS20. Okay, my Ansible command doesn't know, my computer doesn't. So to again use the same option here, hyphen roles path equals to workspace 20. So wherever, guys, you're keeping your role, give the path and location to all the Ansible playbook command. Now if I run this code, so if you run this code, you might get this option. Maybe you are getting this option okay, because of one reason, because the keyword I use, role path, might not be available here. It's maybe roles path maybe. Okay, so let me check Ansible playbook. Ansible playbook, do you have any option in your help that is related to roles path? Let me check. By chance they don't have. So by chance, guys, Ansible playbook we don't have option. But understand one thing. Understand one thing. Okay, if you run the Ansible playbook and your playbook is using role, but where you have the role, if you Ansible playbook command doesn't know, it won't work. And by chance the playbook command doesn't support this option, the way I show in my Ansible Galaxy. So how we can solve this? So it's pretty simple, guys. Whenever you think in the Ansible, your Ansible ad hoc command, my Ansible command, Ansible playbook command are going to use certain option. And in the command line, they don't have a support. By chance, they don't have a support here. Or maybe they might have a support. Okay, but we have to use again and again. So instead you type all the time again and again whenever you run the playbook. Okay, what can you do? You can solve this challenge with a help of Ansible configuration file. Okay, this is the use of the Ansible main configuration file come in play. So initially, guys, we this file in my initial classes we have talked about. So whenever you run any Ansible playbook command, Ansible command, they always look inside this file. Okay, and they look multiple things. One of the things they look for is your inventory file. Where is my inventory file? Okay, but the same file you can do one more thing. Now you can, this file you can say, now we have one extra role path. Okay, a role path. Okay, and the location of my role path. Okay, a role path is WS20. Because your computer might have different folder. Just give your location. So I'm giving some default information in my Ansible. It means if you run any Ansible ad hoc command or Ansible playbook, these are the options we have provided. And guys, normally in the Ansible, they do have underscore here, I believe. For example, in this command also we have underscore. Now, if you do so, if you want to use any Ansible command, they support role path option, or they don't support, or they support. You don't have to always type again and again your role path where it is located in your computer. Okay, it means, for example, in my last command that I use is called Ansible Galaxy list. So now if I use role path option in my command line, it is working. Even though if I don't use, it will work. In both the cases, they work. I don't have to try. Okay, because when you run any of the Ansible command, they always go to internal config file and they find, do you have anything about the role? If you have, can you give me the location so I can use that particular role? Okay, same thing I can use with Ansible playbook also. You don't have to write, because by chance they doesn't support also. right? So any other case, guys, your Ansible configuration file gonna help you. Okay, now let me run this code. Now, if you see here, there is no error command. That's nice thing. And we are applying this playbook in this IP because we write this. I would like to apply this code in this IP. But if you see, guys, none of the task is done because the rule that I used has no task. There's a new task, or sorry, there's a new role we have created. But if you want to add some task inside this role, how to do? Pretty simple. Wherever you have this role, by chance I know my role is reside in this folder. So I'll go to first this folder. Okay, and this is the module, and this module contain multiple files. So let me go inside this module. And now what you will see, guys, inside this module, you can find lots of folders here. And it is very obvious by looking at this folder. This folder say all the tasks, whatever you have to store in this one. All the variables you have to store over here. Okay. All the handlers you have to store over here. And guys, that's what I'm talking about the management. So, and role or this folder is only meant to manage the your final code. Okay. Okay, initially, we use a copy command and copy command, and command will upload your static file. So now, guys, all the static file you have to store in the files folder. And guys, you remember we use one module called template module that will again upload the file, but before we upload the file, they run some parsing, means we write some Jinja template there. So all the dynamic file, when you write a Jinja template, you have to write here. So it is just a way to manage the thing. Technically, there is no change in the syntax. There is no change in the keyword, whatever we learned till date. It is only about to manage the thing. So let me show you. So let's say I will have to write some small task here. So you just go inside the task folder and they give you pre-created file and you have to write the task in this file. We can change the file name, but I'll show you. There's a by default file they always use. And what to do? All the tasks. For example, I am looking to install the package. And my package name, let's say HTTP. Okay, and my state. So guys, exactly same code. No difference. Okay, but this file is only meant for task. Don't put a handler here and don't put the variables here. Just all the tasks just right here. And now by chance, this task folder is inside my Apache, and because my Apache is in this folder, and by chance this folder for us is a role path. If you see your Ansible code. Okay, so anything that you write inside this folder, all the folder for a computer is a rule. And whenever you use this rule in any of your setup file by any of you or by your developer over here, they will apply. And whatever you have here, what I have this code, they will run for you. So let me show you this code again, this example again. So let me go to the folder called new one. What I have here, my code that I apply the role to this IP. If I run my code again, what do you find here? Now this time you will see the difference. Okay, and if you see very small difference here, little bit very small in the terms of output. Again, we are running a one task called package, but they are very clear. This task is coming from one of the role called my Apache because we apply it. And whatever guys we have in the package task, they will apply to us, right? But maybe let me go to my role again. Maybe okay, in my task, the code whatever I have written here. Okay, might I don't want to use a fixed name here. There's not good practice. I would like to use some variable. Let's say p is one of the variable I would like to use. But don't create a variable here. Even though if you create, they might give you the error. If you want to use any variable, technical called parameter, there's a separate folder for this and separate file for this. Okay, and guys, if you notice one interesting thing, well, let me first show you this demo. Okay, can you hold for 1 more second, please? Okay, so this file is only for variable. So just go and write your variable the way you always write in extra file we use always. So p is one of the variable we have. That is this value. Now, guys, if you see here till date, whenever you get an extra variable file, so in your main file where you're running tasks, you have to always include. Now you don't have to include because the rule know that if you want to use any variable, all right, they have to go inside the where folder and they have to go inside a file called main.yml. So it's a pre-structure, or I can say there's a pre-directory structure. So in the rule, this file name, folder name is fixed. The folder name where's is fixed. Inside the where folder, the main.yml file is fixed. So inside the rule, this is called pre-defined directory structure they created for us. Or maybe one of the tasks might use notification and this notification will use handler. So they know which folder handler is located. You don't have to include that folder in file. So this file is uh, it's a pre-created internal fixed naming convention, you can say here. So now you see, without including this variable file, we can directly use p variable here because my task I'm using one of the p variable, and they don't know where I have this variable, but they will auto find for us where everything I keeping inside my variable or my inside my role variables folder. Okay. Now if I again run my my Ansible playbook, you see there will be no error come up. Okay. Again, package model are using some kind of variable, but that variable value, the automatic guys, there's no error come up. Okay, and they automatic even though you see some kind of verbose option here to see what happened behind the scene. So if you see here, they show you they're using this conference file they always use. They're running this package task from this model, and you can see here there is no error come up. If you use more verbose, they will show you some more information what exactly is going on. Okay, so finally guys, if you think about as a code perspective, there will be no difference in the code whatever we did till date. You can run all the tasks, but if you have any task that is a copy task, you know, upload the static file, put the static file here, that's all. If you have any template file, put the template file here. All the variable keep here. All the handler keep here, all the tasks keep. There's some more folder test, meta, or default we might discuss in the future classes, but I'm talking about the folder and concept that we know till date. Okay, so if you are great in Apache web server, you create this folder, or I can say you create this role, it is same thing. Same thing. Okay, and share this role to the community or share this role to website like Ansible Galaxy or share this role to your team members. Team member will download, copy this role to some of the folder. Wherever they copy, they update their local system that I am putting all the role here. And finally, they have to only apply. And how to apply? This is the way. So guys, it is actually the approach and the actual use case of the role. But there will be a lot of things in the role we can discuss. But this is the actual use case, how we use the role and what is the use case of the role. Okay. Now, I just want to give one task here to everyone. Because after having this much knowledge in the role, in the role, and because you know already how to configure Apache web server plus a load balancer called HA proxy. Okay, what I want you as a developer of Ansible, just do one thing: create two roles in your computer. Okay, one role is called my Apache for config Apache web server. One is role called, let's say, my load balancer. Two role you create, okay, or put in your computer the way I did. Okay, in this role, put all the config Apache web server, and in this role, H put all the config Apache, sorry, H load balancer, called H proxy or load balancer. Okay, now what to do? Okay, just think in this way. This both the role is you have downloaded from the internet, okay, from the Ansible Galaxy public repository. Think in this way. Okay, and then try to apply this rule. How? Just create one setup file, and right here that we have a lots of IPs. It's called my web. All the IP on the my web. So my web is a host group, or in this host group we might have three computers. Sorry, three computer, IP1, IP150, and 3. So all these three computer will be applied to this role. So automatically, guys, these three guys will be config as Apache server. And how we do? This way. That's all. So final setup code will be only this one. Nothing special. Or I have one more play on a different host. Or let's say this host may be my load balancer. So if you guys see your inventory, you only have my load balancer. Maybe one or two or multiple load balancer here. So here we have one load balancer, IP120. So I'm saying go to IP120, and this 120 is only for one thing, only for one role, and the name of that role is called, let's say, my load balancer role. My load balancer role. So this role I don't have, but you can create. So technically, you see, final setup code is so simple. It's just we apply, and this can become created by somebody, or you create, or maybe after you create multiple teams work in something else. Okay, that you create. So guys, this task you do, a role topic is not complete, right? We have to pass. Now, guys, when you do this topic, what you will face a challenge. If you guys remember my HA proxy class, right? Guys, while configuring the HA proxy load balancer, you have to update the configuration file of the HA proxy. And if you remember, if you want to configure the HA proxy configuration file, we have to get the IPs from this group. So we are exchanging the information multiple playbooks. And by chance here, both are different roles. Or maybe this role has some variables and we have to use this variable here. Or maybe there might be possibility this role is created by somebody else, and this role somebody has used Apache website 2.4. But in my case, I want to use Apache 2.5. Everything same, but only version different. And without changing the role code, without going to a task, how we can update that version. Or there might be more examples like this. So pretty simple to do here, but I don't I don't want to discuss here right now, because maybe this is the first time you are having this kind of topic. I want first you comfortable with this topic by doing this kind of task here. Then we'll talk a little bit more about the role. Okay, so this is about role, and guys, tomorrow I'll continue with this topic. Okay, and then tomorrow I will also show you how to use Ansible Galaxy, how to download the role from here. Okay, for example, go to web, you see a lot of role and how to apply. Okay, so this also, guys, I will explain tomorrow. If you see, guys, a lot of role is pre-created for Nginx and AWS and Docker. Great, thousands, millions of downloads they have, right? Great roles there. So how to use this role, and we will discuss then how to enhance this role. Lots of things, guys, about the role we'll discuss here. But creating a role is pretty simple. Only thing is you should know the right use case of the role. I think I try to explain today what is the some of the great use case where you can use the role. Okay, so guys, do this task. I think my task is clear. Same task, HA proxy and but I want put the HA proxy or HA web server inside the role. So just guys, I would like to talk till here today. Okay. uh, uh, and guys, if you are going for the 294 examination, there's the global examination. most of topic of the examination we have discussed. There might be some more small topic might be left. Okay. Most of topic has been discussed. After guys my Ansible training completed, we will give you exam boot camp to you. So somebody here asking me, that's the reason I'm addressing this question to you. Okay. So that's so guys. Yes, Sandeep, we are going to learn dynamic inventory soon. Maybe day after tomorrow. I will take the topic dynamic inventory. So tomorrow, guys, I will take a class on Ansible Galaxy, some more thing about role, and plus a sudo. Anybody who by chance missed the class sudo shared by us, just do it. Otherwise, you won't able to understand the topic called privilege escalation. Very important topic. But just please go to the sudo class if you don't know what is sudo. Okay. So, uh, 1 minute. So, any other question, guys? I just want to talk till now in today's class. Any other questions you have, you can ask. Can we write multiple playbook in task force? Yes, sort of very great use case. By default, by default, when you create a role, they will give you pre-created folder called task, and they always use a task playbook file called main.yml. The question I think sort of asked me, can you create more file here? Answer yes. But can does role will use that file? Answer is no. But can we use that file somehow? Answer yes, by including those file in the main. Okay. So this is the approach. But how? My tomorrow guys class will give that answer to you. But answer yes, you can add multiple playbook in the task folder. And this is the way we always do in the terms of management. Okay. How role decide which thing to again the same, Manish. Because a role behind the scene use a task. In task you write all the task here, and the order that you write the task, package, service, the same order they work. Or if you use a when close or something like this, so or same order they work. So order will be same whatever you write in your code. Because role is just including it, right? But otherwise all the concept is same. Can we create two play in the main file? No, guys. Now understand, if you see, guys, very simple here. Okay, we are writing in this task folder only a task. Only task means module. Okay, like in the role, we never assign the role to the inventory. Because you can think in this way, this role is created by one of the developer Apache server, and they create this Apache role for other team member, and that guy who create this role doesn't know where there's been this role has been applied. So they create one box and give to other team member, and there's a duty of other team member. They decide where they want to apply. Apply. Okay, so guys, if you see here, okay, the guy who is applying or managing the target node, they are the one who decide in this IP we have to apply this role. The guy who create this role, they just give the role with pre-created code. Here in the task, we never write a host keyword. If you write, they will give there, but there is no meaning to write there. So, so I think a lot of guys are asking me this thing. Yes, chorus. Day after tomorrow, we have a discussion on uh, discussion on dynamic inventory. Again, I recommend, even that I told you in my AWS class of Ansible. So the task I have given you guys in my AWS, sorry, in my Ansible related to AWS, just go through it, because my dynamic inventory class is very much related to the task I have given to you related to AWS using the Ansible. Okay. Are you going to talk Ansible Tower? I think very in simple, guys. In one line, I've given the main use case of the Ansible Tower, but it is a different product, different codes Red Hat has. So I told you, I think multiple time it won't possible. in this 294 training. But even the yes, we have a discussion on system roles also. Maybe tomorrow class I will explain you a system role. But in the simple line, a lot of role is provided by your computer in Red Hat 8. You don't have to download from the Ansible Galaxy. You can directly use that role the way I use here. How we will discuss maybe tomorrow. How to test a role. Pujan is depend upon what you are actually implementing. One of the great way to test the role is to write some test cases. Okay, so you can use some TDD approach. In this training, guys, we are not going to discuss testing; is a different world altogether. But anybody who are from testing field, or if you know Pujan about testing, so we can write some test cases who will check our role. Technically, we don't check the role, we actually check the task running inside the role. So every task you have to write some kind of testing cases. Anuj, no, Ansible is not over. Ansible is not over. Can you tell the LS share recording as it is was a new topic? Sanjana, I don't know which topic you're talking about. What is LSSH to share the recording? Okay, learning had. I think you're talking about. I don't know. I think you're talking about the today's class rule. Okay, let me check. So yes, somebody asked me regex. Yes, we will discuss in this week. I think maybe after two or after third class, maybe I will take a topic on regex. So I think I can see similar kind of questions multiple times. So I can't well to see. Can we use Ansible? Yes, 100% Divya. Very a lot of use cases we have related to Jenkins call Ansible playbook. Okay, a lot of use cases. Okay, so if you know about Jenkins, you guys know pipelines. In the pipelines, if you have a different after so code has been tested and you have to build the entire environment dynamically, so we can Jenkins will call the Ansible will configure the environment for you, and then you deploy a code. Okay, so like this there will be a lot of use case in this with Jenkins, but the question is, can we use Ansible Jenkins? Answer yes. And actually there's a lot of great use cases you have with the Jenkins. So I think that's all, guys. Mhm. um, so guys, any other question left, we will discuss in the my next class, guys. That's all for today. We'll guys see you tomorrow. Bye, take care.